Welcome to this pre-recorded webinar on the general process for applying for a discretionary grant administered by the Office of Special Education Programs, or OSEP. My name is Terry Jackson, a project officer here at OSEP.
I'm Carmen Sanchez, also a project officer at OSEP. The agenda for this webinar covers 4 overarching topics. First, we will review background information on the agencies and OSEP's mission and priorities, as well as authorizing statute and regulations that inform the grant-making process. Second, we will cover the elements of the notice inviting applications, or NIA, to which all applicants should pay close attention. Third, we will briefly discuss the application process and provide tips. Lastly, we will cover additional resources that applicants may find helpful in the application process.
The purpose of this webinar is to increase applicants' awareness and understanding of the requirements and process for submitting an application, as well as provide prospective applicants with tips and resources to facilitate the application process.
Some caveats before we begin. While we summarize in general terms the elements found in most of the notices inviting applications, or NIAs, OSEP issues, it is critical that prospective applicants thoroughly read the NIAs for each program to which they intend to apply. In addition, each program will have a recorded webinar that is specific to that NIA. We encourage you to also listen to those NIA-specific webinars.
In this section, we'll cover background information that informs the NIAs and the application process. These will include Secretary's priorities, OSER's mission statement, OSER's Rethink Framework, OSEP mission statement, and authorizing legislation and applicable regulations. This slide and the next slide contains the Secretary of Education's 11 supplemental priorities for discretionary grants administered by the department. The NIAs will make reference to all applicable priorities. Notice that the 5th priority is specific to the children with disabilities, among others. These are the 6th through 11th of the Secretary's supplemental priorities. On both this slide and the previous, there is a hyperlink in the title to the section of the Department of Education's website that features additional information about these priorities. You can also search for the information at ed.gov.
OSEP is part of the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, or OSERS. Notice the emphasis in the mission statement on improving outcomes and raising expectations for all people with disabilities. This mission drives the NIAs we publish. OSERS is currently using the Rethink Framework to operationalize our mission. This slide shows the key elements of the Rethink Framework. This slide shows the 3 key elements of the Rethink Framework. More information is available on the OSERS pages at ed.gov.
This slide is our OSEP mission statement, which is aligned with the OSERS mission statement, but is focused on infants, toddlers, children, and youth with disabilities and their families. This mission also drives the NIAs we publish. Legislation and regulations that have a significant impact on the application process and the NIAs we publish. All NIAs must be part of the programs authorized under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA. The NIAs must make explicit reference to the specific parts of the law that authorizes the work. In addition, the Code of Federal Regulations also codifies various aspects of the application process, either through what we refer to as Uniform Guidance or EDGAR. The links on the slide go to the additional information or the statute or regulations themselves.
In this section, we will cover the elements of the NIAs that are common to all OSEP programs and to which applicants should pay particular attention. OSEP offers discretionary grants under different program areas such as technical assistance and dissemination, technology and accessible instructional materials, personnel development, parent training and information centers, and state personnel development grants. Prospective applicants can search on ed.gov for the grants forecast to get a sense of what OSEP proposes to fund within the federal fiscal year. In each notice, applicants will find information related to the purpose of the statutorily authorized program and information related to the purpose of the priority. Typically, a brief background on information relevant to the priority is also provided. When reviewing the NIA, applicants should note any priority requirements that need to be addressed that are specifically defined, such as evidence of effectiveness, for example.
Each NIA has at least one absolute priority that states what the applicants must address to be considered for the grant. It's important that applicants respond to all elements that are being requested in the absolute priority requirements. Applicants need to respond to the absolute priority to be considered eligible to receive an award. If an application is eligible, it will be evaluated based on a set of selection criteria that is also included within the NIA. In some NIAs, in addition to the absolute priority, there may be competitive preference priorities, which are optional for applicants. Applicants that respond to the competitive preference priority may receive additional points on their applications. Each NIA will provide the selection criteria that reviewers will use in evaluating individual applications. The selection criteria changes for each NIA. Each of the selection criteria have assigned point values. Applicants should carefully review all selection criteria and sub-criteria and make sure to address all in their application. Applicants are strongly encouraged to read the absolute priority and ensure that the application responds to the priority requirements. Applicants are strongly encouraged to organize the application according to the order of the selection criteria, and applicants may also want to consider including the table of contents to direct viewers where to find different sections of their application narrative. In addition, the NIA will include information about what additional information should be included in specific sections, such as the Appendix A.
Applicants must include a budget for the project as well as a budget narrative. Each NIA gives a maximum award amount for that grant. Applicants should also check the NIA for specific budget information, such as setting aside funds for project meetings, restricted and direct cost rates, or cost matching requirements. Lastly, the department requires that applications contain certain assurances. Assurances are provided in required forms to be completed and submitted with the application, and which will be available in grants.gov. The non-construction and lobbying assurances inform the department that funding will not be used for construction or lobbying. The General Education Provisions Act, or GEPA, Section 427, requires applicants to include in its application a description of the steps the applicant proposes to take to ensure equitable access to and participation in its federally assisted programs for students, teachers, and other program beneficiaries with special needs. Additional information on how to address GEPA Section 427 is provided in NIA. In addition, some NIAs may require additional assurances and certifications.
In addition to responding to the absolute priority, the NIA also provides information on who are eligible applicants. Prospective applicants should carefully review this section to ensure they're eligible to apply for the grant opportunity. Applicants with questions about their eligibility should contact the individual listed as the contact for the NIA. Applicants are also encouraged to follow the instructions for the format of the required project abstract and provide the information requested. Each NIA lists maximum award amounts for budget periods. Applicants are reminded that the award cannot exceed the maximum amount and should use that information to construct an appropriate project budget. Applicants are strongly encouraged to submit applications early to ensure that the application goes through the process without errors that could impact timely submission. Submitting early will give applicants time to resubmit the application if necessary. Lastly, NIAs will provide recommended narrative page lengths and formatting. In this section, we'll cover important elements of the online application process and the different websites involved in the application process. Prospective applicants need a tax identification and data universal numbering system numbers to apply. This takes between 2 to 5 weeks, so applicants are strongly encouraged to start this process as early as possible. NIAs provide additional information on the process for obtaining TINs and DUNS numbers. The link is to the page on the IRS website that explains TINs and how to get one for an organization. The DUNS website contains information for obtaining a DUNS number, which is a unique 9-digit identification. Start by selecting DUNS towards the top middle of the home page. It's the last option after the tab labeled About Us. After selecting the DUNS tab, there's a drop-down menu with additional options. Notice the telephone number to contact for further assistance, or use the live chat option available on the home page.
Registering in the System for Award Management is also required before submitting an application. Once again, we strongly encourage you to start this process as soon as possible. The NIA provides additional information on registering in the System for Award Management, or SAM. Both the DUNS and the TIN must be registered in SAM, the U.S. federal government's primary registrant database. If the payee DUNS number is different than an applicant's or grantee's DUNS number, both numbers must be registered in SAM. Registration on SAM may take approximately 1 week to complete and could take upwards of several weeks to complete, depending upon the completeness and accuracy of the data entered into the SAM database by an applicant. Again, applicants are strongly encouraged to begin working on the application while completing the SAM registration process, since an application cannot be submitted until all of the registration steps are complete. Once the SAM registration is active, it will take 24 to 48 hours for the information to be available in grants.gov, and applications must be submitted through grants.gov. We will discuss grants.gov next. Please note that all organizations will also need to update their SAM registration annually. The common instructions for applications to the Department of Education discretionary grant programs apply to all grant competitions in the department. Applicants are strongly encouraged to read those instructions as they work to submit applications. The hyperlink on this slide is to the notice published in the Federal Register, but the instructions are also included in all application packages on grants.gov.
Unless a prospective applicant is provided with a pre-approved exception, prospective applicant must submit an application online through grants.gov, the federal government system for submitting applications online. All applicants are encouraged to register early, and information about the registration process is found on the hyperlink to register early on this slide. Applicants needing support in using grants.gov can follow the link in the last bullet to a number of online trainings available. Grants.gov supports the latest versions of Microsoft, Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Firefox, Google Chrome, and Apple Safari. However, these web browsers undergo frequent challenges and updates, so we recommend that applicants have the latest version when using grants.gov. Legacy versions of web browsers may be functional, but may cause users to experience issues. To register with grants.gov for the first time, select the registration link in the top right corner of the grants.gov banner. Passwords are valid for 60 days and will not be valid on the 61st day onward. Grants.gov accounts are automatically deactivated after 365 days of inactivity. That does not log in for a year. Grants.gov automatically sends 4 separate warning emails, 1 per week for the first 4 weeks immediately preceding deactivation. If an account is deactivated, users will first need to reset their password. The Applicants tab on the grants.gov homepage offers a number of resources, including how to apply for grants, tracking an application, applicant training, frequently asked questions, and more. Once a prospective applicant has an account on grants.gov, they can access the NIA and the full application package. The grants.gov workspaces allows applicants to complete offline, upload, and submit forms and other documents over a period of time. Once again, we encourage prospective applicants to submit applications early. Applications can only be submitted online. Applications cannot be emailed, and only those applicants granted an exception can submit by other means. Grants.gov applicants can apply online using the Workspace tool. Workspace is a shared online environment where members of a grant team may simultaneously access and edit different web forms within an application. Users create different workspaces for each funding opportunity announcement. Grants.gov generates an automatic acknowledgement when an applicant successfully transmits an application. The The acknowledgement contains a grants.gov tracking number.
Applicants are strongly encouraged to verify that grants.gov received the application submission on time and that the submission was validated successfully. Applicants can verify through the Track My Application link on grants.gov. A successful submission will have date and time received in G5 earlier than 11:59 p.m. Washington, D.C. time on the deadline date. As the application moves successfully between grants.gov and the department's G5 system, the status in G5 cycles through 3 statuses: validated, received by the agency, and finally, agency tracking number assigned. When the department's G5 system successfully retrieves an application from grants.gov, a second confirmation is generated. The second confirmation includes a proposal request number, or PR award number. This number typically begins with the letter H, followed by the CFDA number and alpha, the last 2 digits of the federal fiscal year, and finally a 4-digit number that is generated in the order in which applications are received. For example, the first application submitted to the Stepping Up Technology Grant Program in 2019 would receive a PR award number of H327S190001. OSEP also recognizes that some prospective applicants may have issues that would prevent them from applying to the grants.gov system. Therefore, each NIA contains information about how to request reasonable accommodations in applying for the grant. Applicants must follow the directions in the NIA, including any deadlines for requesting accommodations. In this last section, we want to highlight the resources available to applicants and grantees to enhance their knowledge and capacity to apply for an OSEP grant and be a successful grantee. This is a screenshot of a page on the ed.gov website focused on uniform guidance and links to training and resources to assist grantees and applicants understand requirements under uniform guidance. This screenshot links to a number of courses that are available to help applicants and others increase their capacity to manage grants.
As previously mentioned, grants.gov has extensive online training resources, which are available through the link on the slide. OSEP is also a resource to answer applicants' questions. The NIA contains information on who to contact if you have any questions related to the NIA. If you have additional questions after viewing the competition-specific webinar, we encourage you to contact the individual listed in the NIA.
Thank you for your time and attention. Best wishes as you navigate the process of applying for an OSEP grant.